My name's Wi-Fi the Elf. Now I'm coming to you live from the reindeer outpost in the North Pole, and I'm... Oh, wait a minute, let me check these cables. Oh, that's better. Now I'm going to connect you with Father Christmas so we can hear all about the adventures from the North Pole. I'm so very excited. I do love these. So get snuggled in and listen for the latest adventures from Father Christmas.
Welcome back, children, to another delightful episode from the Adventures of the North Pole. I'm your host, if you don't know me by now, Father Christmas, and tonight I have a special story to share. It's about our very own Tinsel, the energetic chief elf, with her incredible adventures to save the annual Elf Music Festival. So settle in, wrap yourself in the warmth of my tales, and let's embark on this magical journey together. The North Pole was abuzz with excitement. It was almost time for the Elf Music Festival, the most anticipated event of the year. Elves from all over the North Pole were preparing their instruments, practicing their songs, and dreaming of the big night. At the heart of all this excitement was Tinsel, the energetic and ever-organised chief elf. Tinsel loved the music festival more than any other event. It was a time for the elves to unwind, enjoy, and celebrate the magic of music. This year she was determined to make it the best festival ever. She had spent months planning every detail, from the stage decorations to the performers' schedules. The decorations were an explosion of colours, with twinkling fairy lights, shimmering garlands, and sparkling snowflakes creating a wonderland festive cheer. Now in her cosy office, Tinsel pored over her plans. Her desk was covered in blueprints, sketches, and lists. A large calendar hung on the wall, each day marked with tasks and milestones. She checked off each completed item with a satisfied smile, feeling a surge of excitement as the festival day approached. Now Tinsel's planning started right after the previous year's festival had ended. She met with elves from different departments, gathering ideas and feedback. She wanted to ensure that the next year's festival would surpass all expectations. The theme she had chosen was Winter Wonderland, inspired by the beauty of the North Pole during this festive season. The main stage was to be a magnificent ice palace, crafted by the talented ice sculptor elves. They worked tirelessly, carving intricate patterns and designs that sparkled like diamonds under the winter sun. Tinsel often visited them, bringing hot cocoa and words of encouragement. She loved watching the ice sculptors at work, their breath visible in the frosty air, their hands moving skillfully to create masterpieces from blocks of ice. Next, Tinsel turned her attention to the performers. She had invited the best elf bands and soloists from all over the North Pole. There was the Frosty Flutes, the Snowy Strummers, and the Jingle Bell Rockers, among many others. Each group brought their unique style, promising a night of diverse and enchanting music. Tinsel organised rehearsals in the Great Hall. The hall was filled with the sounds of instruments tuning, voices warming up, and the occasional burst of laughter. She moved around, offering tips, adjusting microphones, and ensuring everyone felt ready and excited. Her enthusiasm was infectious, lifting the spirits of everyone involved. One of her favourite moments was when the Jingle Bell Rockers played their new song for the first time. The upbeat melody and catchy lyrics had everyone tapping their feet and clapping along. Even Tima, who usually preferred quieter tunes, was seen nodding his head to the beat. Now Tinsel also paid close attention to the seating arrangements. She wanted every elf to have the perfect view of the stage. She designed a layout that included cozy seating areas with plush cushions and blankets, ensuring everyone would be comfortable despite the winter chill. She even arranged for enchanted heaters, created by Neb, to keep the audience warm without melting the beautiful ice sculptures. Decorations were another crucial aspect. Tinsel envisaged the entire festival area transformed into a magical winter landscape. she enlisted the help of the craft elves, known for their artistic talents. Together they created giant snowflakes, twinkling lanterns, and garlands of holly and mistletoe. Tinsel herself created delicate ornaments, each one imbued with a touch of North Pole magic. As the festival day approached, the anticipation grew. Elves chatted excitedly about their plans, discussing what songs they hoped to hear and which performers they were most looking forward to. The air was filled with a sense of community and shared joy, something Tinsel cherished deeply. One evening, Tinsel held a final meeting with her core team in the Great Hall. Rab, Tootle, and Masha, and a few others gathered around a large table covered in plans and diagrams. The fireplace crackled, casting a warm glow over the room. Tinsel reviewed each aspect of the festival, making sure everyone was clear on their roles and responsibilities. "We're working so hard and everything's coming together beautifully," said Tinsel. "I know this will be the best elf music festival yet. Let's make sure every detail is perfect, and most importantly, let's have fun." "With you leading us," said Rab, smiling, "it's bound to be magical." "I can't wait to see the ice palace all lit up," said Masha. "It's going to be amazing." The meeting ended with a round of hot cocoa and cookies, a North Pole tradition. As Tinsel looked around her friends, she felt a deep sense of gratitude and pride. She knew that the success of the festival was a team effort, and she couldn't wait to share the magic with the entire North Pole community. And so, with every detail meticulously planned and every elf eager to contribute, Tinsel and her team were ready. The Elf Music Festival was set to be an unforgettable celebration of music, joy, and the enchanting spirit of the North Pole. But, just before the festival, disaster struck. A severe snowstorm rolled in, blanketing the North Pole in thick snow and causing a massive power outage. The sound and light systems were completely down. Tinsel's heart sank as she looked at the dark, silent stage. How could they have a music festival without sounds and light? The storm was unlike any other the North Pole had seen in years. Snowflakes, heavy and wet, piled up quickly, creating thick drifts that covered everything in sight. The usual bustling streets of the North Pole were eerily silent, with only the howling wind breaking the stillness. The temperature dropped rapidly, and even the hardiest of elves had to seek shelter from the biting cold. Tinsel stood at the window of her office, watching the storm rage outside. Her heart felt heavy as she thought of all the hard work and preparation that had gone into the festival. She knew she had to act quickly if they were to save the event. Determined not to let the storm ruin the festival, Tinsel called an emergency meeting with her closest friends and trusted colleagues. They gathered in the Great Hall, where Tinsel laid out the problem. The Great Hall was usually warm and inviting, felt somber as the elves huddled around the large table, their faces lit by the flickering firelight and candles. "We need to find a way to power the festival, and quickly. We can't let the storm ruin our special night. The elves have worked too hard and are looking forward to this celebration." "What if we were to use enchanted crystals from the enchanted forest?" said Rab. "They could generate enough power to run the sound and light systems." "Enchanted crystals?" said Masha. "That sounds perfect. They glow so beautifully and would add a magical touch to the festival." "Well, I'll lead an expedition to collect the crystals," said Tootle. "I know the enchanted forest well. We can do this." The mood in the room lifted as hope sparked in the elves' eyes. They knew the enchanted crystals were powerful, but they also knew the journey to the enchanted forest in such a storm would be perilous. Nevertheless, they were determined to try. Tinsel quickly devised a plan. Tootle asked Parky to help, and they would lead a team of strong, adventurous elves on the expedition. Asher would stay behind and get Neb to help modify the sound and light systems to work with the crystals. Rab Rab would coordinate the remaining preparations, ensuring everything else was ready for the festival. Tinsel's mind raced with the details. She gave each of the elves their tasks and made sure everyone understood the importance of their roles. The festival depended on the collective effort and determination. "We've faced challenges before," said Tinsel reassuringly, "and we've always come through. I believe in each of you. Let's make this happen." The elves left the Great Hall with renewed energy and purpose. Tootle and Parky and her team bundled up in the warmest clothes, preparing for the harsh journey ahead. They gathered supplies, including ropes, sleds, and sturdy backpacks to carry the crystals. Each elf was given a special compass, enchanted to guide them to the heart of the enchanted forest, no matter how bad the storm. As Parky's team set off into the blizzard, the wind howled around them, and visibility was nearly zero. They moved slowly but steadily, following the glowing needles of their compasses. The snow was deep, and every step was a struggle. But Parky led with unwavering determination. She knew the path well, having traversed it many times during less treacherous conditions. "Keep close, everyone," said Parky. "We'll make it if we stick together and keep moving." Back at the festival ground, Neb worked tirelessly in his workshop. The enchanted crystals required a unique setup to harness their power. Neb adjusted the circuits, rewired the connections, and tested different configurations, all while the storm raged outside. He could feel the pressure mounting, but remained focused, knowing how much the festival meant to everyone. Meanwhile, Masha and Rab Rab coordinated the other elves, ensuring that all non-electrical preparations continued smoothly. Decorations were checked and double-checked. Instruments were protected from the cold, and contingency plans were put into place for other emergencies. Masha's cheerful demeanor and positive energy helped keep everyone's spirits up, even in the face of the storm. "We're doing great," said Masha. "Just a little more effort, and we'll have the most magical festival ever." Despite the challenges, the elves' determination never wavered. They knew that together they could overcome any obstacles. As the storm showed no sign of letting up, the sense of urgency grew, but so did their resolve. Parky had chosen her team carefully. Each was known for their resilience and bravery. There was Buckle, a reindeer trainer with boundless energy, who was used to navigating harsh conditions, and her trusty reindeer by her side. Jingle and Jangle, the cheerful twins who worked in reindeer food production, were there too, their infectious laughter bringing some much-needed warmth to the group. And then there was Emberly, a young but enthusiastic elf from the Medal and Certificates workshop, whose eagerness to help was matched only by her curiosity. "Stay close, everyone," shouted Parky over the wind. "We need to keep moving and watch out for each other. The enchanted forest isn't far, but this storm is making it tricky." The team pushed forward, their enchanted compasses glowing faintly. The journey was slow and arduous. They trudged through the snow, sometimes having to dig each other out when they stumbled into hidden drifts. The cold was relentless, seeping through the layers of their clothing and chilling them to the bone. "Just think of the warm cocoa waiting for us when we get back," said Buckle cheerfully. "And the look on everyone's faces when we light up the festival." "That's the spirit, Buckle," said Jingle, laughing. "I bet they'll be singing our praises for weeks." Their camaraderie kept their spirits high, even as the storm intensified. The sky was a swirling mass of grey, and visibility was zero. Parky led the way, her keen eyes scanning for any landmarks that would guide them. After hours and hours of grueling travel, the storm began to ease slightly. Through the thinning veil of snow, they saw the first signs of the enchanted forest. The trees here were ancient and tall, their branches heavy with snow and twinkling with a magical frost. The forest seemed to glow from within, a beacon of hope in this harsh winter landscape. "There it is," said Parky, relief in her voice. "The enchanted forest. We've made it, everyone." As they entered the forest, the howling wind was muffled by the thick trees, and the air grew warmer. filled with the soft magical hum of the enchanted crystals. The ground underfoot changed from deep snow to a soft shimmering blanket of frost that sparkled with every step. "It's like a different world in here," said Jangle in amazement. "Look at those crystals." "They're even more beautiful than I imagined," said Emberly, wonderstruck at the sight of the crystals. "Let's gather as many as we can." The enchanted crystals were scattered throughout the forest, nestled among the roots and branches, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. Each crystal was unique, some as small as a pebble, others as large as a snowball, their surface shimmering with all the colours of the rainbow. Parky and her team set to work, carefully gathering the crystals. They used special cloths to wrap each one, preserving its magic. The crystals tingled in their hands, warm and pulsing with energy. Despite the exhaustion from their journey, the elves felt invigorated by the forest's magic. The task was delicate and required precision. They couldn't risk damaging the crystals as their magical properties were crucial to powering the festival. Parky oversaw the operation with a keen eye, ensuring each crystal was handled with the utmost of care. "Great job, everyone," said Parky. "We need a few more, and then we can head back. Remember to pack them securely." The elves worked quickly, but carefully, knowing that time was of an essence. The storm could return at any moment, and they needed to get back to the festival grounds as soon as possible. Their backpacks filled with glowing crystals, the team finally started their journey back. The return journey was just as challenging. The storm had picked up again, and the paths were even less recognizable under the fresh layer of snow. But the enchanted crystals provided a soft glow, lighting their way and giving them hope. They moved steadily, drawing strength from their shared mission and the thought of the joyful festival awaiting them. "Almost there, everyone," said Buckle determinedly. "Just a bit further and we'll be back with these beauties." After what felt like an eternity, the familiar sight of the North Pole's main gates came into view. The elves greeted with cheers and hugs from the fellow North Polers who had been anxiously awaiting their return. Parky and her team had done it. They had braved the storm and returned with the enchanted crystals, their faces flushed with cold, but shining with pride and accomplishment. The festival could go on thanks to their bravery and their determination. Meanwhile, at the festival grounds, Tinsel and Neb worked tirelessly. They prepared the equipment to receive the enchanted power and made sure everything was in place for the big night. Tinsel, with her usual flair, had decorated the stage with shimmering snowflakes and sparkling icicles. The anticipation was palpable as the elves eagerly awaited the return of Parky's team. When Parky and her team returned with the crystals, there was a moment of silent anticipation. Would it work? As Neb connected the first crystal, a soft glow spread through the wires. The sound system hummed into life and the lights flickered on. Brighter and more magical than ever before, the enchanted crystals not only restored power, but added a beautiful ethereal quality to the entire venue. "It's working!" cheered Neb in a satisfied, happy voice. "The crystals are holding steady. We're back in business." A wave of relief and excitement swept through the elves. They cheered and clapped, their spirits lifted by the success of Neb's work. Tinsel hugged Parky, Neb, and as many elves as she could get her arms round, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. "I knew we could do it," said Tinsel gratefully. "Thank you, everyone. This festival is going to be amazing." With the systems up and running, the final preparations went smoothly. The sound checks were perfect. The lights cast a warm, magical glow over the stage. The performers, seeing the transformed stage, felt a surge of inspiration and energy, even despite the raging storm outside. The enchanted crystals added an unexpected but welcome twist to the festival's ambience. The lights twinkled with an almost otherworldly beauty, casting rainbows of colour that danced across the ice palace. The sound system powered by the crystals produced the clearest, most resonant tones the elves had ever heard. It was as if the magic of the North Pole itself was singing along with them. This is incredible, said Masha in an amazed voice. The crystals have made everything so much more magical. As the sun began to set, casting a rosy glow over the snow-covered landscape, the festival grounds were ready. The elves, bundled up in their warmest clothes, began to gather, their faces glowing with anticipation. Tinsel took a moment to stand back and admire the scene. It was even more beautiful than she had imagined. "We did it," said Tinsel, with a sense of pride and a hint of emotion in her voice. "We really did it. This is going to be a night to remember." The stage was set, the lights were glowing, and the sound of music was in the air. The Elf Music Festival was ready to begin, and thanks to the determination, teamwork, and a little bit of North Pole magic, it promised to be the best one yet. Now, the first act of the night were the Frosty Flutes, a group of talented elves known for their enchanting melodies. As they took the stage, a hush fell over the audience. The flutists, dressed in icy blue costumes that sparkled like the frost, raised their instruments. The first notes were pure magic, floating through the air like a gentle snowfall, capturing everyone's hearts. The audience was mesmerized. The music seemed to weave through the crowd, creating a sense of peace and wonder. The enchanted lights danced in time with the music, casting beautiful patterns on the Ice Palace stage. The Frosty Flutes played with a selection of winter-themed pieces, each one more beautiful than the last. Now, next up were the Snowy Strummers, a lively group of elves with guitars made from enchanted wood. Their upbeat tunes had everyone tapping their feet and clapping along. The crowd's energy soared as the strummers played their catchy, joyful songs, filling the night with laughter and cheer. The highlight of the evening, for me anyway, was the Jingle Bell Rockers, a band known for their lively performance and infectious energy. As they took the stage, the audience erupted in cheers. The Rockers started with a high-energy number that had everyone on their feet, dancing and singing along. The stage lights, powered by the enchanted crystals, flashed and pulsed with the beat of the music, creating a dazzling light show. The Ice Palace seemed to come alive, reflecting the lights in a kaleidoscope of colours. The atmosphere was electric and the joy was contagious. Even the shyest of elves found themselves swaying to the music, caught up in the infectious rhythm. "This is what it's all about," said Tinsel, beaming to herself, seeing everyone so happy and united. Throughout the night, the performances continued, each act bringing something unique and special to the festival. There were soloists and voices like angelic bells, choirs harmonizing perfectly, and even a magical puppet show accompanied by an orchestra of tiny instruments. The enchanted crystals ensured that the sound was flawless and the lights were mesmerizing. Tinsel moved through the crowd, making sure everything was running smoothly. She greeted elves, shared smiles, and soaked in the joyful atmosphere. The sense of community and togetherness was overwhelming, and she couldn't have been prouder. The final performance of the night was a grand finale featuring all of the performers together. They sang a medley of classical North Pole songs, each one filled with the spirit of Christmas and the warmth of friendship. The entire audience joined in, their voices rising in a beautiful chorus that echoed through the snowy night. The last notes faded. The crowd erupted into applause. Tinsel took the stage, her eyes shining with tears of joy. She thanked everyone for their hard work and participation, her voice filled with emotion. "Thank you, everyone, for making this the best elf music festival ever," said Tinsel. "We did it together and I couldn't be prouder. This night will be remembered for years to come." The festival ended with a spectacular display of fireworks lighting up the night sky with vibrant colours and filling the air with wonder. The enchanted crystals, their job done, shimmered one last time before gently fading, leaving behind a glow of contentment and magic. As all the crowd went, Tinsel gathered her friends, Neb, Masha, Tootle, Sparkle and Parky backstage. They were exhausted but elated, their faces glowing with the satisfaction of a job very well done. Tinsel's eyes were bright with gratitude and pride. "We did it together," said Tinsel in a grateful voice. "This festival is a testament to the power of teamwork and the magic of the North Pole." "It truly was a team effort," said Neb and Masher almost at the same time. "The enchanted crystals were amazing," said Rab. "They added so much magical to everything." "I'm just glad we made it back in time," said Parky. "It was a tough journey, but we knew how important it was." Friends hugged, their bond strengthened by the challenge they had faced and overcome together. They knew the success of the festival was not just about the performances and decorations, but about the spirit of unity and collaboration they had brought them all together. As it all went quiet, Tinsel knew the success of this festival would be remembered from years to come. She also knew that with her friends by her side, anything was possible. And in true Tinsel fashion, as she stood there watching the last elves depart, Tinsel began to think about the next year's festival. Ideas and inspirations filled her mind, each one more exciting than the last. She couldn't wait to get started planning. And this time, she knew that whatever the challenge came their way, they would face them together with the same spirit of determination and joy that had made this year's festival so very special. And with those thoughts in her mind, Tinsel turned and headed back to her cosy office, her heart full of dreams and plans for the future. The North Pole was quiet now, but it was a silence filled with contentment and the promise of more adventures to come. Now, before I wrap up this episode, let's check in on our favourite duo, Bixby and Biscotti. As the Elf Music Festival had reached its peak, our playful kitten Bixby found himself enchanted by the twinkling lights and festive music. He darted around, chasing the flickering lights and playfully batting at the dangling decorations. Biscotti, his wise and gentle companion, watched from a cosy spot, her eyes reflecting the joy of the evening. Bixby's antics brought smiles and laughter to everyone around. His playful energy was infectious, reminding everyone of the simple joys in life. Biscotti, ever the calm observer, offered a comforting presence, a reminder that peace and happiness can be found in both playful leaps and quiet moments. And so, wonderful children, we come to the end of another magical adventure from the heart of the North Pole. Tonight's tale of Tinsel and the Elf Music Festival reminds us of the power of teamwork and the magic of shared joy. As we reflect on the festival's success and the unity it brought, let's remember to cherish our moments of connection and the magic they hold. Before we part, I leave you with 2 questions to ponder. If you were part of the Elf Music Festival, what instrument would you play and why? And inspired by Bixby and Biscotti, what simple joy brought a smile to your face this week? Reflect on these thoughts, share your stories, and remember, the magic of the North Pole is always just a story away. Until our paths cross again, under the twinkle of the stars, keep the spirit of adventure alive. Goodbye, my dear friends, and remember, every day is a chance to make a difference, to spread a little kindness, and to celebrate the beautiful tapestry of life. Farewell, children, farewell.